What? Yeah, find means it will find the first one. Find all means it will find all occurrences of a pattern in the input text. So it basically does this. Text is a string containing this text and containing from colon use colon character, and then find all is saying find this pattern in this. And what does pattern do? Can anybody tell me? No, no.
Initial
Initial line, then
F,
capital F.
beginning of the left, capital F.
Beginning of the line, capital F, then one or more you are right, and then question mark. Okay, meaning here question mark and then zero or more. Yeah. So okay, and then that's what we are looking for. Although this pattern looks like a little bit off. Similarly, in a very simple form, you can find the text using this, although it doesn't match really nicely. Okay. And you can find all email addresses in the text using these kind of commands. Space. Capital S means space. There are some overspecial characters in every language. Capital S here means space, followed by this, then space. Okay. No. Sorry. Capital S means non-space.
Yeah.
Okay. Capital S means small s means space. Okay. Capital S means non-space. I think this is specific to Python, but we can use our basic form of regular expressions. Now, in using a simple command like find, you can find the exact index. Okay. Or you can find out after a particular line, and that's how you can manipulate this. All right. So double split pattern, we all know. Okay. Now, what does this character means to you? What does this double expression mean to you? The rate, good.
Followed by anything?
Anything but?
Not space.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So that will help you find. Okay. Good. The brackets will help you capture what we have found. Okay. The bracket will help you capture what exactly we have found, and then we can further. So if you see that here, it did not, when find all we ran, it did not give us what exactly we have matched from here to here, but
Only the bracket.
only the. If we have multiple brackets, it will give us the multiple values.
So then it becomes array automatically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So similarly, we can write it in our code and generate this. All right. So these are few one. Math is white space, less small s means white space, less capital S is non-white space, and rest of the things we have already talked about. All right. So you can use Python in introduction with this using RE, and then match with whatever you want to do. All right. So this is basically re.find all. That's all we have talked about. Okay, and that will do, I think, sufficient. Right. So network program, I think it's a general GAN, which I think is not suitable for you. So, I mean, you have client, you have server, you have internet, people connect to internet over connect to the server through the internet using all of these techniques. Client understands HTML, JavaScript, Ajax, CSS, or other client technologies. And then we have HTTP request. The response you get in HTML. And on the server side, you might have Python, you might have other data stores such as Memcached. So I think these things are clear to everyone, right? We can skip all of this. Yeah, I think these are clear to all of us. What is the protocol? I think everybody understands the protocol, right? What is it? Getting data from the server is, so when you make a connection to the server, after making the connection, you say that get me this particular URL, and it gives you that. Okay, and that's what the HTTP request is about. Okay, and mostly the browser is stateless. That's what they are saying. First page, browser sends to the web server. First page, when you click on the second page, then there'll be second session, not be the first one. And second as in second session. And there are multiple internet protocols. All right, let me try to see what it is. Okay. So you can basically the browser, this is something interesting. You can have a look at this. So basically, using SSH or Telnet, you can connect to any website and say import, and then you can ask that server to give you get slash means give me the index. So it's like opening www.umix.edu in the browser. So instead of browser understanding HTML, you okay. So that's what is demonstrated. So this whatever HTML we are getting, that is goes into the browser and okay. So you can have the debugger of your browser in order to understand what all content is coming. So every either Firefox you are using or you are using say Chrome, both of them come with a nice debugger in which you can see exactly what's going on. So you will understand this. So now this is a very quick way of reading the data from website using Python. Okay. If you have to read data from a website, you can basically create a socket like this. You can say import socket. Socket library gives you the ability to create socket. Okay. So whenever we talk to any website, whenever we talk to any server, we create a socket. While every service on your computer is basically listening on a port. If that service is listening on an IP address, the public interfacing IP address, then users will be able to connect to your service. And when they connect, then they will connect to that particular port. So a quick quiz, FTP runs on which port?
22.
21. SFTP, that is secure FTP, is 23. And who runs the 22? 23 is for Telnet. I'm sorry. 23 is for Telnet. 22 is for
SSH, right?
So, okay. And email service runs generally on which port? Yeah? Okay. No idea? 25. So by default, every email server is running on 25 port. And the way it happens is it's like postbox hanging on my door. My service running means equivalent to postbox hanging on my gate. where anybody can come and drop off a mail, which means I can connect to any service across the world. If they are having open 25, I can tell them to hit service and say, here is my email. Okay, so you can try connecting to any of the mail servers and try to write that format from mail to this, mail from this, data started, and then you dump the data and you do that. All right. So in the same way, when you want to connect to a service, connect to a port of a machine, you can use socket. Import socket, socket.socket is this one. And after that, you can say connect to that particular website and send this request. And once you send this request, notice the 2/n. Here we are telling that get this URL. This is not mandatory here. You can remove this. So once you have connected to that socket, you can say get /code/romeo.txt and what version of HTTP are you expecting. So if you say you only comply with HTTP1, then it will respond only in the different protocol. And then once you receive the data, once you have done that, you start receiving the data in a 512 byte size array.
Two sessions are required.
Yeah, that is how the HTTP works. Similarly, on the previous screen, when you connected to the website here. So when you say get this, you generally have to type twice, /enter. Okay. So that's a part of our communication. All right. And so you can read the data directly from the socket, and this data you can convert to string and then present it in the browser. Okay. So you can create a socket, prepare a socket using this, and after you've created an instance of socket class, and then you can connect to it. All right, once you've done that, you can see all of this data coming from the server presented here. Generally, this will be an HTML. Here, it's a plain text. And that's a header in the beginning. Now, that was a raw way of handling the data. You open the socket, you try to go line by line, you even try to specify the An easier way of crawling the web, if you're crawling the web, the easier way is to use the beautiful library like URL, combine it with the libraries like Beautiful Soup, and then you have a brilliant way of handling the text. Okay? So you can simply say URL name, URL open this, and then line to line you can read, just as if you open a file handle. In the same way, you can iterate over it.
Even XML content will be line by line.
Yeah, it will be line by line. Once you have read all of the data, you can feed it to your XML parser.
Do we have?
Yes. So not in this one is not that powerful. The one which is called Beautiful Soup is actually pretty powerful.
Beautiful Soup.
Yeah.
And does it also have JSON?
Yeah. Okay.
It's again a library.
You can just
Import.
All right. So JSON library is Python. Okay. So you can write in your browser just like a file. You can read the data from the web. Okay. Now, if you have got a web page, you can also read it, and the HTML will look like this. And now, if you are writing a crawler, what does it mean by writing a crawler? Crawler means you downloaded a page, then you went to another page, you downloaded that one, and you keep going like this, the way Google does. Google crawl all of the data, keep it in their indexes in the similar way. Similarly, say you have downloaded this page. Now you have to identify what are the references in this. So for that, you will have to parse this HTML and understand it. Okay? This is what Google does. All right? Now, web scraping and web crawling, these are the two things. Web scraping is downloading a website, understanding the meaning of it, and then putting it to use. Okay? So you can import URL lib, URL lib.open, and then you start reading the data from there. or you can read all of the content in one single shot using f.read, and then you can programmatically apply your regular expressions, or you can apply beautiful Zoo kind of parsing library and then parse the data. Okay. So why is this? There are a lot of, because there's a lot of data available today all across the globe. You can download that data and use it. And because not every website provides you a nice API. Okay. And there are some websites which do not allow you free scraping, such as similar terms. Similarly, there are other websites which do not allow you to do crawling. Then you should generally have a look at their robot.txt. If on every website /robots.txt would be there, have a look at robots.txt. It will say that please don't crawl these pages. So don't crawl those pages. So those are a little bit ethical. Now, the easy way would be to parse a website. It will be Beautiful Soup. Beautiful Soup is a good and beautiful way of parsing HTML, right? So XML parsers are not that great, but this Beautiful Soup is actually pretty stable because HTML does not have much of a standard. A lot of kind of formats are acceptable. For example, paragraph never ends. Paragraph never ends. Break can be without in many forms. Break never has a closing thing. So those ways, it's difficult to parse a it is difficult to parse an HTML file, specifically if the standards are not meeting. But using regular expressions to extract text from a website is the easier way than you think. It's far easier thing to extract text out of a website using regex. Even inside HTML, you can use that. Okay. And I'm just taking off the record.
So, I mean, just to give you a little bit of information, so there is this website called songs.tk, right?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah.
For downloading music and all.
Yeah.
Songs. So I downloaded the whole website along with all the music. Just takes on a simple script. Crawl the whole website and around 100, not 100, around 25-30 GB of music. That's it. And this wrote a script which will keep on crawling and keep on updating if they're releasing new songs. So the idea is that if you have automation handy,
then you can do multiple things without having to worry about it. Okay. So basically, all it does is it goes to the website, downloads whatever it wants, crawl, process, and again download it and keep it. If you have already downloaded it, then you don't need it. So have you ever tried to downloading any whole website using any of the existing tools?
Yeah.
Which one? What tools do you use for downloading? So there is a command line tool called wcat. I use it quite often. Yeah.
Folders, right? Compare all the folders.
Yeah. So, no, you can say wcat and then give the URL. And you can say -r means keep on digging into the URL up to a depth of 100. Okay. So it is actually quite fast.
Wget R is for recursive. It keeps on
Correct. So in the similar manner, you can utilize URL. Okay. Oh, web copy. Okay. So, but if you try to use URL list, building such a tool is quite simple. URL list coupled with a little bit of Beautiful Soup will make you really productive. Okay. Now you can have a look at this. So import URL list, import Beautiful Soup at the top. From Beautiful Soup, import everything. You say enter a website. Okay. Now you read the URL. Now you can open the connection to that URL. Read every HTML. feed that HTML to Beautiful Soup. Now, once you have downloaded Beautiful Soup, you can say soup A means give me all the tags. Yes. And inside all those tags, iterate over the tags. And once you have got the tag, you can say from the tag, give me this attribute. Okay, and that's it. I'll give you that attribute. So basically, and then you can write. Then you can keep on going on those few ones and get it.
So basically, your tag becomes HTML again. Dot read.
Okay. You can maintain an array here. Okay. You can maintain an array in which you can say while array.length is greater than 0, keep doing all of this. You can maintain here. While so you take the URL only user, add this into an array, iterate over that array, keep on reading it, and as soon as you get more URLs, pass that URL into that array and keep on going infinitely. And there are a lot of things that could be done.
What it does to the DOM.
So basically, this plain text HTML loaded it. It understood it. That's why it gave you the data. Yes. It is like a DOM parser. Alright? So that way, and it lists you out of this, it lists you things. Alright? So the only thing we have covered here is two simple things. One is URL list, and other thing which covered was Beautiful Soup. Both of them are very powerful. Try using them. You don't require too much of knowledge about things. It's Beautiful Soup is like you give the tag name, it'll give you all the list of tags. Then you take all the tags, iterate over them, get the attribute value, and go to Beautiful Soup. So basically, you can crawl the website very easily. Alright? So those are the two things we discussed here. Is it clear whatever we discussed, Rakesh?
Yeah.
Jagdish?
Yeah.
So we can basically try out live. So let's pick up a website. Okay.
Let's look at Google.
No, they're not because Google has been in this quite much. So let's say nobigdata.com. Okay. So let's say this is my website, okay, my courses. And I want to find out all the courses which are listed. But this is not good because in my courses it's password protected. Yeah. So this is good. Let me see if I can import Beautiful Soup. I'll have to download the Beautiful Soup. So in case you are not aware, then you can basically use a tool called in case you're not aware, you can use a pip. There is a pip tool, PIP, which can download and install anything you want. This is downloading and installing the Beautiful Soup. So I've installed a library called Beautiful Soup. Now I can say import URL list. I can say import URL list. I can also say import Beautiful Soup. Alright? Or import Beautiful CR. Okay? So I can say URL equals URL list. And I can say handle equals URL lib dot open, and here what URL should I give? Anyone? Let me just take this one, for example. Okay, my own website. What was okay, URL open. Right. URL open. Okay. So now it has connected it. Now I can read the contents. Content equals to handle dot read. If you remember, in the same way we also read the full file. Now if you look at this contents, basically a nice HTML. Okay. Now I can say, in the similar way, I can say beautiful soup, and I can say contents module object is not callable. I have to import like this from because beautiful soup import.
Why this?
Because beautiful soup, I think, contains a lot of other packages. Okay. So here I'll explain to you when we talk about packages. Okay. Now this is my soup, which is HTML. Okay. Now I can say, so this is like class is a DOM model of the web page. Now I can say here I can say soup, and I can say A. These are all A, and I can say for A in this. Okay. Print A dot get. That's right. See that? So it has given me all the URLs I wanted. Okay. So this way, basically, I can do anything which I want. So let's say I'm looking for a particular tag called P. I can look for a particular tag called what do you call, say, script. Okay. And I can say print A. You can see that there are so many script tags in my page. So this way, you can actually crawl your website or anybody's website so easily. Sounds good? Alright, so we were able to download a website, crawl a website using URL, lib, and combined with soup, and it does a lot of things. Technically, you can do. It's just a code of ethics. It's code of ethics. I'm saying that please don't download this thing. Don't download this data. Okay.
Whether it is browser or it doesn't matter.
It does matter. So what happens is, whenever you're making an HTTP request, there is something called user agent, a header. Whenever you make a request, a header goes from this side. It's called user agent. But you can override it. You can override it, saying that I am Chrome and this is my header. So you can override it. Website will never know whether you are accessing a website from the browser or whether you are accessing the website from URL link. Website will never know. Okay? Alright? So that's a very quick overview of using the web script. Alright? Alright? You got this? Kidnapped. Alright, I'll just grab till then you can try you can try the using URL lib coupled with beautiful soup.
Lead is 15%. Lead, lead is 15% in it. He started leading.
Stop recording.
Alright. So have you ever tried downloading the data?
Hello. No, it's working. Yeah. Hello. Yeah, I think it should work now. Because actually this got disconnected as I went out. Now it's again connected as I'm back. So, alright. Have you tried downloading anything before this? No? Never?
Downloading of?
Say there's some website,
Yeah.
it is displaying some data, you want to download it, you want to...
From an intranet set of pages, entire set of pages.
You manually.
Not programmatically, but
Manually.
wrote some small script and then just
Okay.
download it.
So you can automate a lot of things. And in today's time, a lot of data is available. Say, for example, you want to basically find out. Say, let's say, in today's time. So your email ID at IBM is Pritipal something, right? Pritipal what?
Not saying that traditionally.
No, IBM one.
I mean, Pripal.Arora at 10.IBM.
Now look at this way. So if I have to find out all the people's email ID at IBM, all I have to do is go to LinkedIn, crawl the data, and find out all the people in IBM. Then find out their first name and last name, and prepare the email ID. And I have the email ID of all. Right? Your name will be Pritipal Arora, right? Pritipal Arora, and then I just lowercase it. Prepare the list of email ID. So there will be
60%.
Maybe you will get some amount of
60%.
Yeah. So similarly, say I being a training organization, if I have to I have to contact all the people who are the HR or something in these companies. I can just go to these places and crawl the data, prepare the email address, and then write to every one of them easily. Meaning, although spamming is illegal, but I'm just giving the idea that this way, if you are good at crawling, you can do a lot of things. Okay. Lot of data is available in all forms. Okay, because when API is not available, then you have to. Okay. Now sometimes you are lucky. In those cases, the service you are trying to contact also provides you a nice interface through which you can interact with this. So you can use the web services in that manner. So there are two general formats in which a web service responds to you. It can be either XML or JSON. Okay. And you can pass the variables in the URL or using as the post. So the way to a process, when you run a process, you can pass the data in two forms. One as a command line argument, other as the input string. In the similar manner, on the website, you have two ways of inputting data, either through the URL or by typing into it, which is post. One is get, other is post. All right. So there are two commonly used format for response is XML and JSON. So if you have to send, let's say when you send the data on one side you have Python dictionary, you have a big dictionary, key value pair and all that. On the other side of the line might be the service is written in Java. So you have to convert this object into this object. So instead of binding by a particular language, they generally often settle down on communicating in terms of XML or JSON. Alright. So here you can see that the dictionary first converted into XML, then this will get deserialized into JSON. So that's how generally the role of services and all of this work. Similarly, we'll convert the Python into JSON. JSON is this kind of a format. JSON is this kind of a format, and then you have. So basically, all here we are trying to say is when you are contacting a web service might be written in a language different than yours. Therefore, there's always a serialization deserialization problem. Also, whenever you are communicating an object from your site to the server using over the wire, that means that data need to be converted into normal bytes. The other part should be able to understand that. Therefore, rather than being language specific, everybody has settled down on these two formats, XML and JSON. Although, if you are trying to make a service which accepts the binary data or trying to give out a service which is giving out binary data, so what you can do is you can use service like thrift. Those are very powerful when it comes to building a service layer. So let's say you are building a nice service. Let's say you are building a birthday service where people ask for person's name and you tell the birthday. Now, how would you build such a service? Or let's say you want to build a phone book service. People come to your phone book, give the name, and you give the address. That's all. So what technology will you use on the server side? You want to build a service to which people either add, like a dictionary, people either add a value or get a value or delete a value.
Yeah, I will maintain a dictionary where
No, what software stack will you use? Will you use normal HTML stack where people are asking through the URL and you are talking in terms of HTML, or how? What will you use?
Java.
Java, okay. On the server side, Java will be there. Tomcat.
No, Tomcat or WebPair, JAX-RS.
Okay, JX you will have. Okay.
And then service layer.
Service layer.
Then for simple, DB layer, DAO, and then DB.
DAO, DB, okay. And the response to the user will be in what format?
JSON XML.
It's not XML. Okay. So sometimes for these kind of requirements, what happens is then now your users will have to write their programs which understand JSON or XML. So sometimes what we did was we realized that this was a very common phenomenon. So we started using thrift. Okay. We took thrift, we implemented only one layer, service layer. Now thrift generated the clients for all the people. Whether you are Pascal, COBOL, anybody can use this client. It generates a uh, layer in multiple formats. The other thing is it does not communicate in the plain text format. Okay, that is the downside of that thing. But the general accepted formats are your XML and JSON. All right. So, all right. So XML is one such extensible markup language, and these are the XML basics, where everything has a tag, and tag ends with another tag, and so on. Okay. And in a lot of ways, the XML is very good. First, it's a plain text format. It is not binary. Second, its definition is unambiguous. There is no ambiguity. You can form complex documents, complex objects using XML. Okay, and in those manner, it is pretty good. And there are a lot of XML parsers which understand the tag start and end.
Nowadays, I think JSON has taken precedence.
Correct. Now, why would you do that? If you have a choice that you can give JSON or XML, which one will you choose?
I'll go with JSON.
JSON. And the reason is?
If it's crisp, it could handle arrays and inside it could have a JSON structure inside the JSON. So it's,
XML can also have that.
yeah, but XML are bigger inside.
Okay. So bigger inside, that's your point, right? Any other?
What is the
You-
question?
Question is, you have to build a service. The when user asks for something, you give in what format? Will you give in plain text format, like comma separated values or something like that? Or will you use XML? Or will you use JSON? Or will you give out in your convert a Java object into serialized
First preference, I'll give XML.
XML?
Because
So, and you, Jagdish? Out of XML, JSON, plain text, binary, which one will you use? I mean, comma separate. Okay. Okay. All right. So,
Go for XML.
huh?
I'll also go for
Okay.
XML.
Okay. And between XML and JSON?
For XML.
Okay.
XML.
XML. So the only downside, yeah, only the down. But if you ask me personally, I will go for JSON. Reason being that the size of, see, this one is so big a size. These things are unnecessary here. This is unnecessary. So,
but if through XML we can generate others. Like
Sorry, it's XML.
if I give XML as
mean that
output,
you can generate others also.
Yeah,
I can
XML
transform it to JSON.
Yeah, same
you
thing.
can. There
But
are
if
tools available for
we are
transformation.
serving only JSON, then if client wants XML,
You can convert.
Very easily, yeah.
All right, never mind. So XML is a fairly accepted way. All right. So XML is something like a tree structure. You can see, and so you can see that it's like a tree structure. These are the last endpoint values.
Other advantage of using JSON is nowadays database are complex database. They all use JSON.
Right. For example, MongoDB and
MongoDB, Cloud and Cloud.
Yeah. The other downside is XML is little ambiguity. So here you can say Z between these angle brackets. Similarly, you can put Z inside here also, saying E value equals double quote Z. So there's always an ambiguity. Should I put it here? Should I put it there? And that is the difference. Second, if Z contains angle brackets, then you have to comment it out. It becomes quite a difficult scenario to comment out those bits. So those are formatting issues, minor. But XML is a well accepted way of representing data. All right. Now, when you have XML, you can address like a path also that X is inside A and B, Y is inside C and D, A, C, and D, and Z is inside A, C, and E. Perfect. Okay. Now you can use various decorators like XSLT to represent data in XML,
And yeah, so based on a schema, we can validate an XML document, and also we can present an XML document to the in a particular format. Okay, so you can see that this is the schema contract, that there should be this is a complex data type, and then there has to be an element here, and whose type is string, and so on. Because this does not tell clearly where 17 is a number or 17 is a string. So in those cases, this contract is generally global. You generally list down a URL of a contract from where the XML is validated against, and that's where the schemas come into play.
Maybe for B2B integration, XML is used, and business to end user will use this.
No such.
What should that have kind of a limitation on that? What limitation is that bringing?
No, this one is more contract first, right?
No, they say same also. See, XML did not have clarity here. Here, when I'm parsing this data, right? I'm not sure about these values, the data type of these values. Okay, but in case of JSON, these values are, well, whether it's a number, because JSON is nothing but a JavaScript, just like Python.
Correct. And see, JSON is relatively easier, and
No, actually, I mean, yeah,
when
it's
do
easier, but
what is the case where only XML is advantage?
I mean, there is no right or wrong in this. It's just that earlier people preferred XML, but now people are preferring JSON.
Right. JSON.
Okay, then we'll use JSON.
So there is no problem in using JSON at all. The size of a JSON document, if imagine this, if you have thousand rows in a table, for every row, every cell, you have a tag. For every cell, you have a tag. Tag is cell started, cell ended. Then for row, the row started, row ended. Now the size of the data is increasing with the markup is increasing with the data. The size of markup itself is equal to the actual data. If you have 1 GB data, 2 GB data goes into the markup. Correct? So that is the problem with this. You have to just list down an array with the data type. So it's crisp and easier in JSON. So I would personally prefer JSON or XML. All right. So similarly, time and date formats are there. Okay.
But here tag names becomes their key names, right?
Right. But what is there in the tag, whether it's a text, whether it's a string, whether it's a number, or whether it's a double, or whether it's a date, that you have to specify somehow. In XML does not let you specify that this is the data type as part of the main construct. You can specify in the tags and attributes, say data type equal to this, and while parsing, then you can utilize this. But inherently, it does not. In case of JavaScript or Python, when you have a variable, you know the data type, correct? When you have the variable, you know the data type. Here, that's not the case. You don't. When you put a string, you don't put a double quotes in here. You just put just like this, and that is one thing. All right, but yes, but still, if you are doing it in XML, that's good enough, and it's okay, and it's completely acceptable. Okay, so you can import a XML tree like this, and give the data and parse it, and then just like a tree, you can access all the elements the way we were using Beautiful Soup. All right, now. So JSON looks like this. If you have not seen JSON before, JSON looks like this. Okay. Now you can see that the number here we have represented like a string. Correct. So we will clearly know in the JSON whether a data is of what data type. Okay, when you load this, it automatically figures out that this is a string, this is a string. If we have one more value, which is a boolean, we'll say that it's a boolean. All right.
Very easy to see.
And this should be in that three quotes block. Comment is it not comment?
No, this is just yeah. All right. I think this triple quote we can use in this context where we have we can in as a string also. Okay, and I think it's so you can basically load JSON just like this. We define a string of JSON object. We say JSON dot loads this. So it automatically created the object graph quickly for you, and then you can basically do whatever you want on top of this JSON.
Why those three?
Three quotes are and similar to string, single quote, double quote. They have also included triple quotes because JSON will still inside they can have single quote, double quote. So to avoid that confusion, they have added one more thing called triple quotes.
So basically, this is for Python to understand. Between this is my actual.
Yes, yes. So it's like the way we have double quote or single quote. We can use the same thing also. We can put double quote here and here. Just that we'll have put slashes everywhere. To avoid those slashes, it is used multi-line strings. Okay. So this way we can load the JSON data and pass it. All right. All right. So how many of you know that service-oriented approach is good? Everybody agrees? Do you agree with that? Okay. So long back at Amazon, the service-oriented, this whole SOA thing, they started with such a sternness in an organization. Long back, they were pioneer in service-oriented approach. Reason being that at Amazon, there were every group who was accessing everybody else's data. And so what it ended happening is that everybody is, poking around with everybody's database tables and everybody's code. And that became a very big issue. So what they decided was every team should own a service. Every team should own a service. Me and you, no matter how close friend we are not going to look into each other's database table. Your responsibility is delivery of the product. So your service should tell me based on a product. Your service should tell me what's the status of the product. Your service is you only provide what say pricing of the product. So you give me a service which provides the pricing of the product. That way, so I was in a team called Detail Page, which does the aggregation of all the services and present the user the detail page. So all I had to do was when you request a web page, the request comes to our website first. Now I make a call around 110 calls to various services to get the product detail. When you access the website, your website request comes to us. We make a call to around 100 services to get the product detail and then serve to the end user.
It is too long pending, no?
Yes. So good part is that these 100 different services are parallel. They are not sequential. So parallelly, as soon as you requested, I sent a request to get the image image URL, only image URL, not image content, image URL. The other request goes to pricing, other request goes to availability, third request goes to the one who are writing reviews, and so on. And when this data keeps coming, we start putting it on the to the end user. Okay, so this way we do not. So if there is a problem, we do not have to poke around in your database tables. All we can see that this is the service you are providing. Are you breaching a contract or not? Okay. So we write out your test cases. We keep our things clear. We know that exactly who is breaking the system. So this way, that was some stupid thing Amazon did to build a service layer, and it pans out really great. It pans out really great. To get it done, Amazon CEO hired a guy from military, a guy from army, who was the champion for enforcing the service-oriented approach, and made sure that everybody abides by the services. And it actually worked out. So yes, so in service-oriented approach, people one company do not poke around with other person's data. Instead, what exactly the area of concern the is based on what service is provided by individual team. Okay, all right. Now there are application programming interface such as SOAP and REST. Okay, SOAP is XML based, and REST is very plain text based. And there are some new ones which have come, like protocol buffers and the thrift one. So those are two more protocols. One is protocol buffer and other is thrift, and all of them are acceptable. But REST is most appreciated because it's far more simpler. So if I want to request you something really different from what I requested earlier, I'll put that variable in the URL. Okay, it should not be generally in the std in. It should be in the URL. Okay, so you can have a look at the geo encoding API of Google. Okay, you can give a address, and that API will give you a JSON containing the lat long of the address, also the full auto-completed address. So if you search Google's API, Geo API with the text, say Brigade Metropolis or Manyata Tech Park, it automatically will find out does the autocomplete, and once auto completion is done, it will give you the lat long of this place. Okay, so that those are the APIs which we use all the time, and the way we can use those API for if you want to use this service API, you can create a service URL, and then you can basically encode a variable in the URL, and then you retrieve it. Okay, by URL open. So basically, you're constructing a URL here. Constructing a URL means main URL question mark something equals something and so on. And once that is done, you read the data and then you load the data as JSON, because we expect that the data is in the form of JSON like this. So all we need to do is whatever output we got from there, we load it in the JSON here, and then we can traverse the object like our dictionary, array, or whatever. All right, we can traverse that data in that manner. So like results 0 geometry location let. That's how we got the. Okay, so you can see that results. This is an array from here to here. 0 element is this element from here to here, and under this 0th element you will see there is geometry object. Under the geometry object there is another object which has these things. Okay, I'm so sorry, let me just turn it off. All right, sounds good. No, everybody's sleeping. Huh? All right, so this is how you can load the data. Now there are with APIs, everybody is afraid to give you the complete total access to their data. Reason being that if you programmatically hit their web service, you might uh, shut down their servers. You might do a denial of service. Therefore, they generally generate something called API authentication. Okay, so there are multiple ways of API authentication, and every service gives you a limitation of how many calls you can make. For example, Google gives 25,000 requests per day, while Google Maps for Business, after you buy it, they give you 1 lakh requests per day. Okay. Authentication and authorization. We basically first create who knows the difference between authentication and authorization? Yes.
Authentication is validating the access. Um, Authorization is to
access you have.
Correct. Yes. So basically, yeah, that's correct. So basically, authentication is validating, and authorization is what all permission you have. Okay. So I mean, giving me a tag as I enter in your building is authentication that I'm somebody who is what he's claiming to. He's a visitor, and he has this particular ID. Permitting him on first floor, second floor, third floor, or whether he can go to this place, that place is authorization. Okay, and authentication and authorization go hand in hand in every system. So what you generally do is you basically build single sign-on systems where authentication is completely delegated to things like Kerberos or other systems, while authorization is built by you, built by organization generally. Okay, so here you pass the whenever say you are making a call to API of Twitter. Twitter gives you an API, nice API, from which you can get the whole user graph or the data. In those cases, you can pass the Twitter URL, account name, and these things. Okay, and then get the data.
screen name equal to account name.
No, here ACCT is whatever user account you have given here. You are taking that input. Okay. So this is the response you get from the server. Now, whenever you are accessing Twitter or anybody, you can basically create here. If you go into the setting, my application, you will get an OAuth key. Twitter will give you OAuth key, which you can OAuth is a protocol, which is a standard for authentication. You can get the key and the password from the service provider, and from there you see that consumer key, that is one, consumer secret, token, and token secret. Okay, so essentially this is like your login password, which API has to provide to the server and then authenticate itself. And the protocol which is being used for most of these REST interfaces as of today is OAuth. Okay, so you can see that in the URL when we are accessing API, okay, or in this we are providing all the details here. What is my screen name? What is the auth signature? What and all of this. So we are providing all of these details in the URL. Now there is another standard called OAuth 2, where we provide there is a header itself in the request header itself where we have to provide these authentication details. Okay, so OAuth is a general standard protocol which you can implement in your REST interface easily. Almost every service layer provides the way of creating OAuth tokens as well as giving the access on the basis of.
So if we are providing a service and exposing REST interface, so typically authentication we also implement OAuth.
OAuth is implemented by the service layer, whatever you are going to use. It's just you need to configure that service layer.
So we already
The
implemented
the Jasper X you were talking about, right? What was that? The service layer you were talking about?
JAX RS.
JaxRS. It is there, OAuth is there.
So we use a OAuth already implementation.
Yes.
And we just use that.
Yes. For your system.
But to maintain these keys, we need a DB, right?
It generates for you.
Okay.
It generates you can generate from it and keep it somewhere. Whenever your user is asking you to generate or auth key, you ask the API to generate a key and store it somewhere. Okay.
So you are not using OAuth. You are doing some custom authentication.
Okay. That's a challenge. We call it challenge response. Right? But that's not something very great, because that way you expose your login password to developer. Say I have created my Twitter account. Now I have given my developers access to publishing it. So I have to keep, if I put my password login into API, then I have no control over it. Okay.
Now, another opportunity is like when you log into Twitter or Facebook, your password also becomes encrypted when you send to validate you or authenticate.
Right.
What is that format that you have?
That's HTTPS, right?
HTTPS nowadays is very easy to crack, so they will not be sending plain text over the network. I'm pretty sure they must be doing some other information.
See, if you're using HTTP, no matter what they do, it is mostly going to be plain text. Okay, they might be obfuscating it, or they might be using on the client side itself some other mechanism of hashing it. Yeah. You can write a JavaScript library which converts a plain text into some encrypted one and then send.
But still, anybody client know what is that encryption mechanism.
Right. Any questions here?
Is it true that the HTTPS can be broken?
It's 256 bits encryption.
All right. So should we start modules?
Yeah.
We have 5 minutes break.
Yeah, we can have it.
Break is always right.
So we'll have a quick break of 5 minutes and then come back and have a strong coffee. Okay.
You have some answers.
So we use modules in order to achieve a brilliant organizability. Or let me put it this way, you wrote a code which has 20 functions and you want your people to be using those functions rather than copying your code into their current file, right? In those cases, you use modules. In the classic sense, let's take an example of Fibonacci. So anybody remembers Fibonacci anymore?
Yeah, 1 plus 1 0 1 1
0 1 1 2 3 5. So a number is, Fibonacci says a number is made up of its previous two values. Okay, in a sequence, the next number is equal to current plus previous number. Next number is equal to current plus previous number. And for initial two numbers are 1 and 1. Initial two numbers are 0 and 1. So next number is going to be 1, and next number is going to be, and next number is going to be, and then 5. So this way, the pace at which number is increasing keeps increasing. If you see, because number is equal to previous two numbers. So as the numbers are increasing, the pace is also increasing. Okay, and that's why the Fibonacci numbers are actually look like if you try to draw the graph, the pace look like quite exponential. Okay, and lots of Fibonacci numbers, if you try to do the fractals, if you try to draw it, lot of things actually follow Fibonacci numbers in nature. Okay, it's like saying big gets bigger. Meaning, if there is a bigger number in Fibonacci series, the next number is going to be far more bigger. If there is a smaller number in Fibonacci series, the next number is going to be smaller. So in the same way, the rate at which the number is changing increases with the time. So Fibonacci is that one. And as you can see that writing a Fibonacci number is pretty simple. Is this code clear? Do you see any problem with the Fibonacci in the code? Principal? This is another function. I mistake. So basically here, right, this basically gives us, prints all the Fibonacci numbers up to n.
Not the series of n numbers.
No. Sounds good to you? So if we run this, we will get the Fibonacci numbers. Now there is another function you wrote is fact. Okay. Fact is basically if n is less than equal to 0, return 1, otherwise return n minus 1. Okay. Sounds good? Now these two functions, writing them is easy. Now, interesting thing about modules, because one is that whenever people want to use your Fibonacci functions, what they can do is they can simply run your functions, copy paste your code into their current file and start running them. One is that, or in the same folder, if you save this file with a name called fibo.py, you can say import fibo. Can I show you? So basically, creating a module is nothing but every Python file is a module. You don't have to do anything about it. So let me show you. Let's say we have this particular folder called examples, and I say mate fibo.py. This is my text editor mate. Here I wrote it. So now if I say Python fibo.py, it will do nothing because there is no function used there. But if I have another program, let's say fibocaller.py, mate is the text editor's name, and I'm saying import fibo, okay, and next line is what was that? Fib say 100, okay. So you can see fibo dot fib 100, okay. So now in the when I say Python fibocaller, so you can see that doesn't look good. So you can see that I was able to give my previous program's name. If you have this, so let me say mate fibo.py. All right. So I created a file called fibo in the same folder with this, and I created another file in the same folder, and all I have to do is import fibo with the same whatever file name I given without the .py. I call that. Okay. So this is how the modules work. Now when we say import sys, right? When we say import sys, internally there will be some sys.py I am actually importing, right? In the similar way. So this is how you can divide your code into multiple files and start using one program in another. So this is a more simple way of organizing your code. Okay. So basically, every module is kind of a file. All right. So Or the other way would have been, we could also say import, you can say from Fibo import all. Now I don't have to type fibo.fib. I don't have to type fibo.fib if I write it this way. I can, I don't have to write. So this is good, right? So if you write earlier, when we said import Fibo, we did not specify which method specifically, which object are we talking about. But if we say from Fibo import all the methods are availed in this current module. So this is the easiest way of creating the module. Yes, it does. Second one, in the second one, if we say from this import fib, that will be better. Okay. So that was the most simple module you could have imagined. All right. Now next one is so it basically created a module called Fibo, and we can call functions on that. Or you can call things like this. From Fibo, import either fib, comma, fact, either of them. All right. Or you want to call import all, then it's okay. Also, sometimes it's required that when you are executing it, because same program you are putting as a module, same program you are running normally. So let's say when I'm trying to run this Python Fibo, here if I say Python Fibo, it's not giving any result, right? Because it has only functions in it. Now, if I want to do something inside it, let's say I try to run fib 100, okay, and fact 20, okay. So if I try to run that, I'll get these results. Why did I? Okay. This is correct, right? What did I do? Why is she saying 1? Oh, here. N into. Okay. So this is my factorial. Okay. So yeah. So now you can see that we have put that. But now, as I execute my caller also, this caller, okay, both will get executed. When I run this, when I say Python Fibo caller, will run both the things. Whatever is there in the Fibo caller as well as in the main one. Okay. Because all it is doing is it's running that program. That's all. Internally, it's just running that program, nothing else. When we say import, it's running that program. Okay. While running that program, it basically creating those two functions, and I'm using those. Okay. So import does nothing but runs that program. That's all. So here, when you see it, it basically has run the same thing twice. One here, say we have 200 here. So once it has run up to 200 and once it has run up to 100. Okay. Now how to avoid it? Sometimes it's very important to avoid it. So there is a special variable which is provided by Python to you called __ name. This variable is main. If you are calling from command prompt, then this variable will have __ main value. Otherwise, this variable will have some other name. I'll show you this part. So you can, and then when you import, say we import that modules.py. Now in that, let's say we saved this file as modules.py. When we run that program just like this, this gets printed, called from this. But if we say import this, then this will be called. All right. That's the only difference between importing and running a program. Sounds awkward?
One is that you are running it, number two you are importing it.
Yeah. So one is I'm running this program, other is importing. Importing and running is equivalent. Okay? Importing and running a program is important. Equivalent, both. The only difference is this variable called __ name is different. Similarly, when you are running your program from the web, like when you run your servlet, what methods get called? Do get, do post. Similarly, when you run this program from the web container, it will be calling the same methods, everything same, but it will setting some other name for you. So this _name contains the value of how your program is getting called. So here when it says _ main, it shows that it is being called from command line. So when command line calls this program, I mean Python standalone, calls the program, it sets the main name variable to main. Otherwise, it is set to this one. I'll show you this. So let's say this is our main program, right? Here. Okay. For time being, I'm just commenting it. Now you can see that. So when I say Python Fibo caller, it says that I'm called as Fibo. Okay, meaning the name was set as Fibo. If you say Python Fibo.py directly, it says I'm called as standalone. Sounds good? No?
No, but I still understand the name.
Name is just a variable provided to you by program. Okay. It's just another variable. It just has this weird __, nothing else is different. All right? Okay. So this way, name is a name is a variable. Internal variable provided to you.
Basically, it's just to identify.
How is your program called? Okay. So instead of inside the program, okay, sometimes program needs to know how am I being called. Okay, am I being called from the command line where arguments will be provided to me, or am I being called from another program where data will be coming from somewhere else? So those kind of things you can differentiate. Okay. Also, in the similar manner, if I just want to compute this only in case of it's called from the command line, okay, we can do that now. All right. Now, okay. So now if I run Fibo caller, so okay. Now if I'm running it standalone, I'm getting this output. But I am saying, let's say I go to command prompt here and I say import Fibo. Then that thing is not running.
Just importing those.
Importing. No, it's executing. If I say print hi here, it will get executed in both cases.
Because you already imported it.
I think it's already imported. So when I say import Fibo, Fibo means Fibo.py automatically. Let's see. It's executing, right? It's just that since the name is something else, Okay. So if I run the same program from command line here, okay. Hmm? Fibo caller. Correct? Sounds good to you? You can try all of this. Try making some hello world kind of a code. Try calling from multiple places. And yeah. So this will give you a fair amount of idea. So this is probably the easiest way of making your modules. I was always confused about how the packaging works in Java. Unless I sat down and tried to do experiments, it took me some time to be clear how does the name spacing this that works. Import and all. Yeah. Here, that is one thing that is actually made extremely simple. Right? Similar. Sounds good? Prithwal? Now, this, whenever we are saying import, whenever we say import something, when we say let's go back here, and when I'm in command prompt here, I say import math, but math does not exist in my current folder, right? The way Fibo existed in this folder, math does not exist in that current folder. Now, so similarly, if we are importing something called a spam module, it internally searches the list of locations. So when I say import something, okay, it searches some places and then comes up with that this file needs to be loaded. And so the order is the built-in module are searched first, and then all the path in the sys.path are searched. Okay, there is this list of folders in which whenever math.py will be searched. The moment you say import math.py, it will go into this list of this variable. You can see this variable called sys.path. You can see sys.import sys, and you can say sys.path. So this list of folders is what it's going to search. So whenever I say import math.py, is going to go into, first it will look in the current folder. You see the blank one, current folder, then this folder, and then the other folder. And then in these list of folder, it is going to search. Now, since you have Python 3, he has Python 2, you also have Python 3.3, 2.7, all those 5 versions. Whenever you're launching the command prompt, all those 5 versions will have this list different. Okay? This list is what dictates where to find that particular math.py in order to load it. Make sense? Just like when you type a command called ls in Windows or dir, or say you're running a command called telnet, how does it find where is telnet?
Current directory.
Current directory.
System path.
System path. Good. So they also have a concept of PATH path. And under that path, it separates the path with semicolon and then goes by one folder, tries to find in those. As soon as it finds it, then exits it. All right. So sys.path is initialized by current directory, Python path. There is a variable called Python path, which you can mention from which it's picked up. And also the beauty of this is your program can modify sys.path. So if you're writing a web server and you're writing a plugin system, okay, you're writing a plugin system. So you want that your program you should load the programs which is written by the customer. So what you do is sys.path, you add the customer folder also. And when in rest of the program, whatever code people are saying import this, import that, it's going to pick up from the customer folder also. Getting your mind? So that is the beauty of sys.path. Your program can alter the behavior of sys.path. Okay. Also, whenever you are running any Python module or Python program, automatically it tries to minimize the loading time by creating another file called pyc, so that it is basically compiled version of your code, so that it becomes faster to load the program. So for the first time, when your program is going to load it, it is going to generate fibo.py and fibo.pyc. It will generate fibo.pyc, and fibo.pyc, I think it should be there by now. Do you see fibo.pyc?
Yeah.
Okay. And if you see its timestamp, so fibo.pyc is created at the same time as fibo.py. Now, if I touch fibo.py, it is going to get regenerated. So if I touch fibo.py and Python fibo.py, and you can see, so it's not yet touched.
Not being generated.
No, not generated, but import fibo. Yeah, modified, right? So basically, whenever you are importing a module, of course, it is as soon as it's loaded, or with all the things which are inferred, it saves it into pyc. And next time when you load it again, instead of going to py, it's going to look in the same folder. Is there pyc or not? If there is pyc, it'll load that instead of yours, provided pyc is newer than py. Okay. So if fibo.py is newer, it will regenerate it. Otherwise, it will keep it the way it is. Okay. This makes it faster to load, although the runtime remains the same. And also, pyc folder is independent of the OS. Okay. Even if you copy this folder somewhere else, still it will work fine. All right. So packages is a way of organizing the code in the form of, now we talked about modules so far. We talked about modules, and what was module? Nothing but a normal Python program. Just that when we are accessing something like a module, it basically has a different underscore name underscore. Correct? Yeah, you have something. Skylab? Comfortable? Now, next level is, after some time you realize that putting all of your code in single folder is not going to suffice. What we just did, first, before understanding modules, we were putting all the code inside a single file. Now we decided that we'll put all our code into different files, but in the same folder. Now, if we that is also sometimes not necessarily sufficient. It's not sufficient most of the time, and therefore having packages is important. Packages are collection of modules in a hierarchy of folders, a folder within a folder within a folder. That's what is package. So when we say import a.b, a is a package, b.b is a module. So, or you can say a is a package and b is also a package. Okay, it could be either way. Sounds good? No. What? Yeah. Same as Java only. Now, yes, correct. In almost all programming languages, the model that has been followed is identical. Okay. Reason being that it makes the life easier in organizing. Now, here also, when you have two packages A and B, there will be a directory called A, under which there will be another directory called B, both containing the modules. Okay. So you can look at this in a little bit complex project. You see that there will be, say, sound project is there. Under the sound project, there is one package, another package, another package. And under these another package are your modules. Now we can say format.waveread, import format.waveread, import format.auread, or import effects.echo. We can also say import effects.surround and filter.equalizer. So this way you can organize your code for fairly large projects. You can further have one more level of folders under these, and that's it. Now, this is one main package, sub-package, and module.
If you want to import all the modules, you could just say from sound import stuff.
Yes.
You need to import all the modules.
No. It will look in this file, init.py, that what is the definition of all. Okay, and only then whatever declaration that init.py gives, it will load only those. If it doesn't give anything, that means you are not trying to load anything.
So we have to modify that.
Yes.
Can you show an example?
Yeah. So all right. So here we have sound, init, and these things.
I missed the init file.
No, it's not told yet. Okay. So load a subpackage. So if you want to say import sound.effect.echo, this is fine. You can say import sound.effects.echo. Okay, that's perfectly fine. Now, in the similar way, you can say sound.effects import from sound.effects import star. Okay. Yes. So this is a absolute names to invoke. Okay. Also, if you are importing something like import sound.effect.echo, you will have to call it like sound.effect.echo. This function name. Okay. Other way of loading things would be from sound effect import echo. Same thing, but in a different way. Saying from sound.effects import echo. Now echo will be a new object in which there will be functions. Okay. You could also say from this import echo filter in the same way. Yes. And then you can use the same function. So you can import either the module or the function directly. Which means what will it do is it will load all these things and load all the functions into the current one. Yeah. That makes our life little easier. Sounds good?
Now I know the difference. From and import.
Yes. All right. No. Scalar.
That init.py.
Init.py. Yeah. Init.py declares what all module you want to load. Similarly, whenever you are loading a module under the main package, then it will automatically initialize those variables, whatever you write there. Okay. Whenever you are saying import.formats.auread, whenever you do anything, these variables will be loaded in the beginning, and that's pretty useful for us.
So each subpackage can have its own init file.
They have to have. Even if this file is empty, you should have this file. Just touch the file and keep it. Otherwise, Python will think that this is not a package. To mark a folder as a package, you need to put a symbolic file called _initpy. Just have to make an empty file. All right. Sounds good.
These why 2 and 4 are blank?
That's like that. I wanted a space.
Oh.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So should we try to create these programs?
Yeah.
All right. I don't have right now ready. So let's create make directory -p. and I say, this is better. Make directory sound, cd sound, make directory
I have written code
format
inside init file.
effects. You can write that. Filters. Okay. Now we have these three folders. Now inside this, we can say mate dot here. I can say new file, and let me just give it a name. What name should I give? Let's say wave read dot py, and here I'm just going to, okay, I'm doing nothing. Okay, I'm just writing hello everywhere. Sounds good? Hope it doesn't sound awkward to you. Okay, we can say under filters echo dot py, and I say print echo. All right, let me make one more file here called a reverse. Okay, so this is it. Next is filters, equalizer. Sounds good. All right, now we have this folder structure. Go up and we say Python, and we say import sound. There is no module name sound. Okay. Now, why? Because we have not created here a new file called underscore 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 init. Okay. Now it is loaded. Make sense? Now, if we say from sound import effects.waveread or sound.effects, okay, no module named effect. Reason being, we don't have a init there. Okay, so therefore we need to create, how do I rename? Yeah, now here we are. So let's say effect, we can say new file and just create this dummy file. That's all. Now it will, you see this? So the moment I have imported WavRead, that particular function has executed. Sounds good to you? So this is how you create your module. Now if I say import star, okay, it has imported nothing. Now let me try to exit and start again. Okay, it has imported, but nothing has happened. Reason being, in case of each folder, we have to say all, and in this I need to mention the name of the now see
Name of the module.
modules. So whenever you say import star, okay, so when you say from sound.effect import star, it will not magically go through whole list of files and load it. You will have to mention that in init.py that what all modules do you have. No?
When someone calls in import,
Import
what
star.
module should be imported?
Import star.
Okay.
Put star. Star means look into all variable and then load. But if you say from sound effect import wave read, then it will load directly. Yes. So the definition of asterisk is derived from this variable called all. Sounds good to you?
Star means whatever that is defined in all.
Yeah.
It only picked up wherever we have in it, wherever we have made a package.
No, not clear.
It's a folder. It didn't pick up from filter.
Not fully. Okay, I'll explain again. So we are trying to create a complex project. Now we are trying to create our own packages and modules. Module was easier. All you needed to do was just any program, any Python program is a module in itself. Okay. Every Python program is module in itself. Whenever you say import your Python program without .py, it basically loads your Python program, means runs your Python program. Okay. Runs means declares all the functions. Now functions are available for other people to use, and init function it will run. Now, if we have bunch of such files, we can put them in a folder and start calling that as a package. Okay. Now, whenever we are calling something as a package, it makes sense only if we have a file, a dummy file called init.py in that package. Only then Python will recognize that this is a package you are trying to make. Instead of, there could have been other way also. The way Java guys or the other way traditional people used to use, that inside sound folder, you create properties file in which you declare that which directory means what package. The mapping between directories and package. Instead of doing that, they said, whatever folder you are free to create, you create those folders. Just that you have to, if you want some folder to become a package, just create a dummy file called init.py. Then it will be considered as a package. All right. Now, if you want to support, say from a package, import all. Okay. Import star. In those cases, you have to mention one more variable in init.py that what does it mean by star? Meaning by defining a variable called __ all. So any variable, if you have 50 files here, okay, if you don't mention all these 50 files and you mention only one package here, this is the only one which is going to be imported. Let's have a look at it. Okay, let's have a look at it. So under this, let's call wave write. Let's call it wave write.py. Okay, all it does is disconnected. Internet is not there.